they were showing up from the beginning, like really, really good results. And take a look at those two rosters. It is crazy stacked. On Queen Walker's, Stephanie's side, we see Gaku, Klaus, Stars, and Yuta on the roster. And that's just a stacked roster. But I mean, take a look at the other side, Lady V. It is as stacked.
Yeah, we've got Alec, who is one of the newer team members, along with Nachoa that joined in. And then, of course, the staples, Ariam, Kingsman, and Synthé. I think everybody knows what we expect to see from Synthé today, though he could switch it up. But if you're in the mood for some skelly donuts and some hogs or maybe lalos to follow that, you for sure are in for a surprise. What I'm curious to see what we could come from Queen Walkers, though, is some of the creativity. We've seen a lot of these players in Carbon's Creative Master Series just playing around, having a lot of fun, enjoying the game quite a bit, and actually bringing some of these new skills to the game, which does change the level of it. So we could see some exciting attacks coming in from both sides here.
Yeah, that's true for sure. Even though I feel like the majority of the creative attacks have serious entries. So I feel like you're only allowed to barge a base, as Klaus does, when you're having an entry which is kind of like getting the value to like get you to the position to actually barge a base. I don't think we're going to see barge. I think we can still see the same crazy entries from those guys on both sides. But overall, we're going to have a lot of fun, I think, watching this crazy match, and I'm super excited to see who is going to come out on top, because this is not where we would have expected those two teams to be, right? We would have expected, seeing this matchup, that this is like an upper bracket matchup. But no, instead, both of those teams are staying 0-1. So one more loss and only one, like after that, it's for them do or die in this tournament, because after that, they cannot lose anymore. So this is really important for those two teams to have this second chance kind of like still going on for the last few matches, because, I mean, we know as a viewer, it's a long time. And for the players, it's even more exhausting to make sure that you're concentrated over such a long time period, and that's not easy. So getting those wins early is really important. So later on, where you're kind of like not as concentrated anymore, and maybe some mistakes are happening, that's where you want to have like this second chance coming in. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, and that's why we want to follow this particular bracket, because this is the whole beauty of the Swiss bracket. It is forgiving in ways, but you can wind up being one of those top teams that still winds up in the bottom, having to crawl your way back to fight really hard to get back in it. And this is what we want to see. We don't want to keep the focus solely on the upper bracket teams. We want to keep the focus on those teams that still have to work their way through and struggle. But equally, there are many opportunities to watch these teams that are doing phenomenal work, like Torlo, who just came in with that perfect war. You can check the list of streamers over on Twitch and take a look and keep an eye on what's happening. And of course, we'll be keeping you updated with the stats on the scroll bar below as well, so you can see how your favorite teams are doing. And we will start updating you as we go through with some of the matches there. But so far, we're definitely in for quite a big surprise from what we saw from the start there. Perfect war coming in from Strut. Absolute Zero going to have to face their way down. But this Queen Walkers versus MCES, I'm not sure if that's exactly how many people would have predicted it. But we'll see which team is going to fight their way to get back in slightly further up into the upper bracket of this. And I don't know. Juno and I often try and put each other on the spot. We don't do this enough with you. I would ask who you think would potentially have the favor in this matchup.
That's a hard one, but I think at the moment, Stars, Klaus, I think Gaku as well, they're so active in Legends that they just have like this advantage over there with like the routine which is coming in. And right now on the screen, you can see which matches are getting covered by which streamers. Make sure to follow your favorite teams out there and watch those streams, and you can see it right there on the list, which streamer is covering which team. And it's going to be a crazy fun day, because it's so many matches which are getting covered, so many matches which are getting streamed. And after you did me the favor of asking who I think is going to win, and I'm kind of like leaning towards the Queen Walker side. Now I return the question: who do you think is going to win in our match, which we are going to stream?
I think it's a tough one. I do think that Queen Walkers do go into this as the favorites, knowing how strong they are and the confidence that they've brought in this season, but I would not underestimate what MS Esports is bringing. They do have some fresh blood coming in with Alec and Ochoa. I do think they have the talent and the skill, and do not underestimate a player like Kingsman, who comes in with some of the most incredible hybrid. For all those players out there and viewers that are waiting to see some ground attacks, this is where you might get to see it, because we've seen a lot of Lalo coming in. We do know that Synthe and Kingsman are more of those ground style attackers, especially since we've seen Stadra switching up from ground and going to air with those super drags. We should see some ground coming into this mix, so this will maybe bring a little bit more balance. But you see the leaderboard on the table here to see what other wars will be streamed. Suzy Gaming will be covering X Team versus War and Glory. For RVNT versus Genshin Clan, we've got Eric from One Hive. We've got Strut versus Pyromania, which Waspman will be covering. Carbon will be covering Torla Tavatan versus Repotted Gaming in that upper bracket match. And Lexness, of course, streaming Empire Gaming versus VN Tompanai. And you'll get to see that Queen Walkers versus MS Esports war with us here live, and we can keep you up to date on the stats. So a lot of action to be covered. Full score here on the English language. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with all of these matches today and who's going to be battling it out. But we're inching ever so closer to find out who those two teams that will make it into those first playoff brackets will be shortly.
Yeah, that's right. I'm always trying to like lean over and see what the chat is saying to the question who they think who's going to win. I think the majority was like going for Queen Walkers, which is no big surprise. But there were actually quite a few as well who said MS has for sure what it takes for them to win. Because, I mean, overall, MS Esports didn't play bad. They lost 14-15. It's like a... Yeah, of course, like sometimes the other team is just a bit better. Like this one, like those few more buildings. And so MS Esports did not do bad at any means. Queen Walkers, we have not seen them play today, so that's going to be interesting if all of the players are ready and to go into this match, because it seems like obviously if you're not fully like if this is the first match and there's so many things on the line, it's not easy to get your head into it, and it takes a really true professional. I think Queen Walkers are those, but still, it's not easy, as I said. And one thing you have to keep in mind, both of those teams, as we have said, were favorites overall, right? Like we expected them to be in the upper bracket, and whoever team is going to lose is in the bracket of the 0 to 2 teams. And that's the point where the head is kind of like going in your way with like, oh my god, what are we doing here? We have to win this, otherwise we're out. And like that's where the problems are starting. So I really hope that that's not going to happen. But that's another thing which you have to take in consideration when talking about those top teams, because they're top teams. Most of the time they're not in this position. So it's a different story for them sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, I think the one thing with these teams is there's so much predictability within them, so it can make it easier to try and find ways to defend against or even bait these teams into certain habits. But what does work in some of their favors as well is the creativity that they do bring into the table, because they're not always looking at it straightforward. A lot of times they're looking at it, okay, am I going to be baited? If I am, what other way can I go about it? And their versatility to adjust on the fly, that does come into play quite a bit with many of these pro players that we do get to see on the scene. But it is a little bit more equal because both of these teams we see streamed quite often, so we know often what to expect from them, not only offensively, but defensively here as well.
Yeah, that's for sure, right. And for me, another topic is always, which I already mentioned, like how active are those players then in, for example, Legend? And we're starting with Queen Walkers. We're like the prime example of being active on Legend. It's getting you quite a lot. And when it comes down to like practice and everything, we have Gaku starting things off actually with maybe it's a bit of a surprise. We typically see him with those queen charges, but this time he's coming in with 10 Inferno Dragons. No Super Dragons, no, instead those Inferno Dragons. They had a small comeback after a lot of people are trying to defend those Super Dragons with single Inferno Towers. But now, well, there's 2 multi-Inferno Towers on the other side. Maybe he wants to take those out with the heroes. Looking forward to see how he's approaching this. But he's starting with his Queen, and most likely there's the Inferno Dragons coming in as well, early into those multi-Inferno Towers.
Yeah, so this is often where we see the early ability clipped regardless, and the rages coming down to sneak them through. Loon's taking the lead to actually protect the front line of your dragons, but also absorb some of those traps along the way. So he makes a nice, speedy, quick push through into those multis, and we've got those Skelly spells down to help protect through the scatter shots from all that splash coming in and the defending heroes, while the King and Queen work along the outside of the base, keeping this train through nicely.
Yeah, like for me, it's always so hard to tell how it's looking with those Inferno Dragons, because I feel like it's so trap dependent, right? Because if there's now a lot of black mines or red mines coming up, this can still go horribly wrong. But at the same time, so far we don't see too many of those traps popping up, which means the expos are getting taken down, and with that, the Royal Champion is going to have a super easy time to clean up the rest, and that looked just way too easy.
Yeah, and coming in, I mean, he took a lot of risks on this one, knowing that the air sweepers were also pushing in the direction to try and sweep back the Inferno Drags and Drag Riders, but keeping those freezes at bay. He still has one more left over, dropping it down to keep that King alive, protecting the Queen, who still has her ability, and so does that Royal Champ, launching off that Seeking Shield, just knocking this one out of the park. You can see the smile on Gaku's face. He knows this is exactly the way Queen Walkers wanted to start off this war, going into the lower bracket, just absolutely seeking, destroying, and picking up the 3-star start.
That's exactly, as you said, the one start you want to look for, and that's typically when he's the first player for Queen Walkers, he's using typically one of those Inferno Dragon style attacks, because otherwise they always have the same attack order, right? With the Stadra going first, then Gaku, and then Klaus, and then Stars, and then Klaus. So this time they're mixing things up and adapting those strategies. And at the same time, we're seeing at the bottom again, like the stars going through Tavantan, having the first fate of the day. They got 15 stars just before, and reported are going to hit next. As we have said, make sure to follow all of those streamers on Twitch or YouTube to watch your favorite match. And we can see as well Tompinai getting their first 3-star on the board. That's awesome to see as well. Already the first 3-star for GB2.
Yeah, GB2 coming in nice and strong. We've got RVNT as well with a 3-star on the board against Genshin Clan. And that's another clan, I think we briefly mentioned, Brazilian team that has been a powerhouse coming in nice and strong. But X team also coming in with a 3-star start against War and Glory. War and Glory is a team that you cannot underestimate because we've seen them. They retired. We had Nick and Agent coming in, but they seem to have just like this breath of fresh air coming in after their retirement and coming in super strong. So that's a team that's going to be fighting hard to get their way into potentially the playoffs for a chance at the golden ticket.
Yeah, that's right. And we just saw things start with only 2 stars in their first attack. Let's see how that's going to keep going. But now we're in with the next attack. Elec is in. Seems like he's going to go for a Blizzard onto the Expo, onto the Town Hall, trying to get as much value as possible. Keep using those invisibility spells to take down that Town Hall. Another invisibility spell in place. That should be able to take down the Town Hall. And even the single Inferno Tower is gone. That was really nicely done. The Client Castle is getting loot as well. So the perfect start for a Blizzard attack. Question now is he going to get enough value with his heroes?
Yeah, so pulling the CC to the side, Queen's going to take on that Hound nice and simple and start weaving her way in. Now, we've got this open path where the Wizard Tower is to connect the Queen, and we can already see that we're shaping up the base to kind of work our way through. This could force the King to come inside, help work along, and ease up to pick up a huge chunk of value for this Lalo push, which I like. And we also have the Ice Golem to take that frontline lead. This is a beautiful opening. We're starting to see more and more of this and taking advantage of these inline direct pushes, but the jump is what's going to be huge here to force along into the scattershot eagle compartment with the defending queen, while the royal champ ensures that there is nothing to redirect the focus of the queen coming in from that outer edge.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we see already queen charges where the warden is getting used with that king, but now a blizzard where the same thing is getting played right there, which is a huge surprise, I think. But take a look at that hero value. That was just incredible. Taking down the entire core, taking down every single Inferno Tower right there with those scatter shots as well. Delano just has to do the cleanup pretty much, it feels like. So a beautiful attack right there from Elec, getting things even out again. And oh my god, that was such an overkill. Like, incredible attack with that jump. I mean, I have not seen that too often with a jump spell and getting the heroes that deep into the core. But that was a really nice attack. I think he's happy about that as well.
Yeah, he looks very happy about this. He has not lost a loon in the making of this Lalo. And for Elec, he is one of those new additions to the MSE Sports team this year. He's been a priceless addition because we have seen him coming in with very strong attacks, very different thinking. And what he showcases is the power of the heroes, bringing in that warden to get the extra value in the core of the base to narrow out the path. Sometimes it's just adjusting that thought process. I think many of the casual players think that you always need to use the warden to come in with your Lalo. That is not necessary. If you're taking down the town hall, if you're taking down some of the key defenses like eagles and scatter shots, you really can push your way around with just the loons as long as your heroes can pick up that huge amount of value that we saw Elec coming in with today.
Yeah, that's true for sure. I mean, it's quite risky because if you're not getting exactly that value, then it feels like it's like impossible to kind of save this. But at the same time, if you're getting it, then you're getting a beauty of an attack like we have just seen. So really nicely done. At the same time, we can take a look at some of the results with Reported coming in with a 3-star as well. So it's good looking for them. At the same time, no second attack done so far in the Ephelian match, but as well a lot of cool, like overall a lot of high results. And we can see as well another close one with the start in between of Empire and Championai. I think it's going to be a really cool day with a lot of clash action, and I'm just excited that we're just at the start. I mean, there's still so much left of the day.
Yeah, another GB2, also 3-3 against Absolute Zero, who just faced off against Strut. So let's take a look. We've got Stadger coming in for Queen Walkers, and hold up! I think he heard me talking before about the Super Drag, that he's been going air lately, and he is coming back to Ground Town. So for all of you players out there that have been waiting and missing seeing ground attacks, Stadger's coming back into it with the Super Bowler Smash. Now leading this one off with the Warden to start shaping up the path of what we need. Typically, we try and avoid the pass to the Town Hall, but cut either across from the back side of it, where it's the last thing remaining, or cut along to the outer edge and reach over it. But either way, we've got that log launcher to open up the direct pathing coming in, and that is exactly what we're going to do for the Eagle side of this base.
Yeah, he's using the first jump and then using the lock launcher later, it seems like. So jump into lock launcher. Unfortunately, the lock launcher cannot jump. That would look kind of funny. But he's getting those troops into this big Eagle compartment. But he's then in between of those two scatter shots, which can be kind of scary. So it's depending now on this lock launcher to open up the walls quick enough, and those super bowlers not getting distracted too far, like too much from those outside troops. But exactly that is happening because the lock launcher is creating too good of a pathing, and this means all of those other troops are breaking out. There's no jump to get them back.
No, but the Yetis are coming in to try and help take on the surrounding defenses for the Town Hall. Queen is behind, has her ability intact. King has taken on the opposite scatter shot, so those are down. And it's the Yetis that actually clear out the Town Hall. So Queen can reserve her ability, help take care of the cleanup on the back end. The thing is support now. We've got a freeze, we've got an invisibility spell, and we do have the Royal Champ, while she's burned through the ability, has enough power to get through these back end defenses and finish this one off. So while Stadger might be rusty on the ground approach, he is still coming in strong with those 3 stars, with with the smashes, and coming in strong for Queen Walkers, trying to keep them to see another day in this war.
Yeah, nice having those Yeti and the Queen following this path in the core. And then it wasn't too bad that those Yetis went to the outside, actually taking down the Scatter and the Royal Champion to finish things off. Sadra with their 3-star. That's in more pressure now onto MS Esports to get that thing done as well for their side. Because so far, both teams only perfect attacks. And that's the meta right now, right? Like, that's the meta. A lot of those matches in between of the top teams is really, really high scoring. And this means every mistake, every fail matters and is having so much impact. So you really do not want to be that guy or girl who is failing the attack for the team. So there's like a lot of pressure on your side regarding that. But either way, both teams perfect so far. And again, we have the results, or like the in-between results coming in at the bottom side.
Yeah, so we've got X Team, who has gone 2 for 2. They've got 6 stars on the board. To War and Glory's 3-star for now. RBNT also picking up another 3-star. These guys are keeping it close. Strut, though, coming in with a 2-star. Could put Pyromania in a good position if they pick up the 3. Tori is now taking a downslide here with 2 defenses. They've got the 2 2-stars on the board, so Repotted Gaming in a good position. Aphelion and SG Tristella are tied up here on stars, 3 and 3. And, it looks like Avian Tampanai coming in with that 2nd, 3rd star on the board. But let's take a look as Arium pops through now. We've got the Blimp coming in to take on the Town Hall position with the Blizz. And needs to get this down nice and fast. Gets a CC lure at the same time as well, and clearing up those surrounding defenses.
Yeah, I think he wants to take down the Warden as well. Warden always a great defense to take down. And maybe even get some more damage onto the Lava Hound, so he only has to invest the poison. Is he going to get it? No. Lava Hound surviving pretty much with 0 HP. Another question is, where is he sending in that Queen? Queen sent onto that Archer Tower. And then later on, he has no wall breakers, so he wants to force her into that long channel, maybe. Maybe that's the idea. Getting the Queen into that channel, getting that Queen towards the defending Queen and versus that Scatter Shot. Let's see. Giant Trap over there is giving him a lot of problems. Let's see where the Queen is going. The Queen is going, I think, as intended, because that's kind of how things look like. The Queen is now following this channel into the core of this base, into the Scatter Shot, and that's a lot of value right there.
It really is. I was a little bit worried about the multi pulling her out of the way, but the King bringing her back on focus. His King actually coming in, clearing out the entire compartment and working along with that Royal Champ who launches her Seeking Shield. We've got the entire core of the base taken down now. If she could take down the Wizard Tower, that is huge, but not the... she does! And I was going to say, not the end of the world, but taking on the Splash is huge, huge value. Now, the only other resistance here is the Air Sweeper that's going to force those Loons back, but the Haste will sweep them in nice and neat.
Yeah, the Warden ability is super clutch, getting things completely through that defending Queen compartment. But the question is, where are the Headhunters to take down that Queen? Now the King somehow ended up in the core with his ability to take down the Queen. The last... one of the last few freezes is getting invested onto the Inferno Tower, and with that it should be another overkill. Really nice attack. There's another freeze coming in to have the Dune from the other side. And can you explain, like, wasn't there like the Tornado Trap, the Tesla Farm, everything at the top side? How did this King end up in the core of the base with the ability not even used? That was kind of crazy. Really nice attack right there.
It's absolutely stunning attack. And, I know that a lot of players out there look and see all these Lalos and they're like, why are there so many Lalos? But you can see with certain players, it is absolutely dominating the power that it offers when you know the right approach with your heroes. And as we can see, with a lot of these open style bases where you have those small narrow compartments to work your Queen through, you can get so much value out of this with the use of your heroes to shape it up enough that your Lalo has such an easy narrowed out path. You get so much more value out of your spell positioning, especially when you're using hastes, which are a much more narrow radius, that you want to keep it nice and compact. So this is why we're seeing so much success out of these Lalo pushes, and probably a lot more, but it's the pro players that they just make it look so easy, Itsu.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons as well is like the different traps which we have on ground and which we have on air. It's really hard to bait like an air attack because there is black mines, but you have the warden ability, so you don't really care about that, or like red mines, and you use the warden ability and you're done. If you're thinking about a Queen Charge hybrid, which then again would be a ground attack, there's spring traps, and no warden ability in the world can protect your miners or hawk riders versus spring traps. So that's kind of like why air is so much better, because you cannot bait it. Like it's really hard to get baited. Let's put it that way. Obviously, to some degree you can bait it, but it's really hard. And this is why pro players obviously like to run the maybe harder strategies to execute, but at the same time, the strategies where it's less likely that you're running into baits and falling really short, because the matches which you have seen so far and the results which we have seen so far are really speaking for really high scoring matches. So ending up with like a 70% 2-star is already nearly like the guaranteed win for the other team. So having a Queen Charge hybrid and running into a bait is not the most fun thing to do. So now let's see, because we have another Blizzard coming in, and Stars is going for the Blizzard. Is he going for the gold storage, or I think maybe just for the Royal Champion platform? No! Oh, I'm not sure. I think he wanted to go for the gold storage.
Yeah, I think he wanted to get in a little bit deeper there, but does get the scatter taken out. Able to take on the Expo as well here. So getting reasonable value plus the CC lure, which is always important. That's that extra double duty that you get out of it when you're bringing in any kind of blimp. You want to try and get as much as you can out of it. So Headhunters have been taken care of. Queen can take care of the Hound, drops the poison over top just to encompass the pups. And we may even see an archer or a couple of minions to help protect, make this move nice and swift and get things going. But the King working from the northern side of the base at 12 o'clock is going to help shape up the path for the Queen to start pushing her way along right into that narrow compartment that we talk about.
Yeah, that's right. And like we said already during the analysis part in between of those two attacks, those open channel giving those Queens a really nice pathing into the core of the base. And take a look at that, the Queen is still going with her ability not even used yet. So that's a lot of value. The King now is at the top side. I think it's obviously still some way towards the Town Hall. If he's going to get that, just think about that. He just took down the Eagle with his Queen. What is going on? Stars is doing Stars things. Now the Town Hall has to go down. If that's going to happen, it's not looking that great for the base, I think.
No. With the invisibility spell of the King, I am surprised he started the Lalo so quickly. We'll have to use the subordinate ability unless he wants to sacrifice the very few loons that are coming through, but it doesn't seem so. 2 freezes and 2 haste to try and force his way through. He's going to have to hold off a freeze combination for the Wizard Tower scatter shot on the back end here, but for now, the Hound is tanking for it, but it feels like he's losing a lot of power from these loons as they are not coordinated together, dropping the haste to give it any bit of semblance he can get out of it, and dropping the freezes. We've got one more freeze haste combination, but it is not working out. I do think that he did not give enough credit to the King that was working his way through to take this on, and this could be his undoing now as he's got no more support to get out of this. This is going to be potentially the first defense that we see now coming in on the board.
Yeah, really surprised that he went through the Town Hall with that Lalo. I feel like with the Warden, with those Headhunters especially as well, having to go through the Town Hall poison, this would have been an overkill. Like the hero dive, there was no base left pretty much, and then he sent a huge part of his loons, of his Headhunters, of like the Warden itself through the Town Hall. So really big surprise over there. Maybe he wasn't really convinced that his heroes can take down the Town Hall. Really unfortunate. But this means the first defense of this match, and it goes to MS Esports, and they now can take the lead in this face-off, which would be really important, especially considering that this wasn't the highest percentage. You said earlier you want to get above this 90% mark or even higher if possible. If you're failing, to make sure that at least the other one is still having a lot of pressure, as we have seen earlier with the Strut match, with the Last Taker having to like go for a 97% 2-star, which is pretty much the same as going for a 3-star. But with this attack, it might cost way much or way more. Let's put it that way.
I think it really will. That is a bit unfortunate, and it's these quick decisions that do happen ultimately that you try and make a judgment call, and not trusting your heroes could be a big mistake. But let's see if Nacho will take advantage of this as he comes through with the queen charge. Lalo, we've got a nice early start here, setting up the queen push to come in towards that eagle compartment. We've got an additional wall break, but we also have a jump to lead into the core where we have the multis. These multis being eliminated from the core do help set the cores for your Lalos. The multis are some of the biggest threats to your Lalo with that big spread out, especially when you've got two close knit together like this.
Yeah, there's another Rage coming in with 2 Expos and the Warden on his queen. And so far he has the Slammer selected, so no fancy Flame Flinger, Lock Launcher, things like that. But he has the jump as well, so let's see where exactly he's going to jump. He has to freeze because the time with the Headhunters were not really perfect. Now it depends where's that queen going. I think he wanted to jump on top of that queen platform at the top side. But at the moment it seems like this queen is having not the interest to go to the top side. Maybe with the king clearing out this bottom side now, she should get pushed back, and there's another jump indeed coming in to take down those 2 multi-phone towers and take down the sweepers as well in just a second. The Lalo now into the town hall. We have seen that many times today. Lalo into the town hall. Let's see how that works, because the town hall's not activated yet and the Warden ability already got used.
Ooh, so this could be problematic. Ooh, the Hound, though, picking up all those red air bombs. Nice power through. Tries to rage up the loons to get past the poison bomb, and it does save them slightly. We do have the Stone Slimer still going strong, and the Queen, who's still alive with the healers intact for now, unless there's more air traps to knock them out along the way. But the Stone Slimer is going to have to be the saving grace on this one. A couple of extra loons to bring in for some added reinforcement and distraction on the back end. Queen's got her full path open for the support and the Drag Rider to try and help, but no more spell support to help this one. So it is up to the Queen, and this is a lot of damage incoming, but the King is still alive with the minions and Headhunters. There is the opportunity to clear this one up and finish it off, Itsu.
Yeah, it's 40 seconds. Minions are coming in from the top side to make things a bit more clear. And yes, the powerful barge left. 1 Archer, 1 Barbarian getting placed into the mix as well. This Queen is going to finish things off. And he is still going to 3. So what a comeback. Crazy, crazy good jump right there from him. And this means that Shore is getting things done for MS Esports. And this means there is the lead for MS Esports in this matchup. Both teams so far with 3 attacks each, but only one team with only the perfect score. So really nicely done by him. And Queen Walkers, they have to go perfect now as well and hope for a crazy good defense.
Oh, they definitely do. That small slip up here does mean quite a bit, and it would be surprising to see Queen Walker slipping down 0-2 into this matchup. That would mean that they need to get a win in that next round to try and get their way through. But so far, MS Esports, like I said, they're not a team to really put too far under the radar, because we have seen them coming together quite a bit more recently with these new additions, and I think they've been watching a lot of the Queen Walkers to try and get their number. But a lot of creativity and a lot of quick reflexes coming in from these new players like Alec and Nachoa. They're definitely they're earning their keep, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. Those were really, really good attacks. And now we have Klaus coming in with, I think, a Skelly Bat Donut, because I don't see the poison right there. So yes, there it is. The bat and the skeleton spell right there into the center to take down the multi-phone tower, take down that clan castle. And that's looking good. The clan castle should fall. And this means the beginning of this attack so far, when it's coming down to the spells, is successful. The heroes now are getting sent in from their top side. Again, like the same approach as all of those sweet Lalo attacks, which means Queen for the Town Hall, King for the Scatter Shot right next to it, and most likely this Royal Champion in between to take down the second multi-phone tower in the core.
But I do see the log launcher, so I'm curious if we're going in with a big dive for this. Maybe bring the Warden in to come into play, unless we are going to switch this up later on into a Stone Slammer or a Blimp. King is just charging through with the early ability of Royal Champ, picking up as much value as possible. We've got the Town Hall just about to go down, but the multi going down in the core as well. The Air Sweeper would be a nice push, though it's not going to be detrimental to the pathing of the Lalo from either direction, since he is starting in, and that means the Warden can come in for the power play, working along with these loons. But again, I'm waiting to see what he brings in for the siege barracks, because I can't imagine we're going to keep that log launcher there.
Yeah, the last visibility spell I think was a second too late, a millisecond too late, you want to say. The Tesla form is getting completely overwhelmed, but there's still quite a lot of base still left. With the freeze though, onto the Eagle, onto the multi-phone tower, it's not looking too bad. With again a separate Slammer coming in. The Sweeper would have been nice if that would have been taken down. No Warden ability left, but a nice Loon portion completely overtaking this base. And one thing which I'm always so which I'm finding so crazy about, for me it's always the Queen Walker players, so like in overall the Lado players. Those free spell placements, I mean, it looks easy. It looks like, yeah, sure, no problem, freeze the Eagle and freeze the multi-phone tower. But I have seen as well so many people, and especially like the casual players, like when I see normal regular wars, I see so many people that would just freeze the multi-phone tower. That would just freeze a single building, but instead optimizing your spells so nicely that you're freezing so much in the base. That's so impressive to me, because it's as well this quick thinking, which is not as easy. Like, it's easier said than done. So that's really impressive to me, like with all of those Lado attackers optimizing the spell placement and getting so much out of their spells, which are costing only one spell housing place, right? So that's really cheap, but getting so much.
And that's something that you look at, you know, ahead of time as well, where you can get that huge freeze value, especially when you're bringing in things like bats and, you know, where you need to know where that placement is going to be. But we are still taking a look at some of the scores coming in, and it looks like Strut and Paramania can still be tied up. But Paramania would, if they pick up the 3-star, have the percent advantage. Torla still coming in strong with 9 stars on the board, holding over Repotted Gaming. These are pretty tight matches that we have coming in, and some impressive, oh my goodness, wait, was that Tristella and Tori coming in tied up completely with star count and percentage, and Vien Tampanai in a good position. Even if there is a 3-star coming in against them, they have the percent lead. So a lot that could be changing quickly within these matches, but a lot of these teams keeping it nice and close that you were talking about. This is the biggest problem, is you really can't have too many big slip-ups in these kinds of wars.
Yeah, only a few mistakes. And we have talked about ground and air, and we have talked about how not forgiving ground at all is with those spring traps, because if your troops are hitting spring traps, they're out, they're done, and they're out of this attack. With, for example, then the air attacks, you can still use the Warden ability and block those, but spring traps, not as easily. So now we have the King of Hybrid coming in with Kingsman and a Queen Charge and a Hybrid right into that tower compartment.
Man, the one thing I always remember you saying about the approach with the hybrid in general is when you can pick up some value of getting a bomb tower within it, and we can see that in close proximity to where the town hall is. That could be huge for this, eliminating some of that damage. We'll see if that's if the queen's gonna be on course to actually take that on and help out for the pathing of the hybrid if he does send it in from the 12 to 1 o'clock side and force that queen down and around. But I do see the baby dragon already shaping up a funnel down at the 6 o'clock side, so it might not be the case. Either way, we need to make a nice, easy, narrowed out path. We always talk about the radius of these spells and how important they are, that you get everything covered within the splash. So an early heal coming in is ideal with the oncoming slot of the Scattershot and the CC troops along with the defending RC.
Yeah, but there's so much damage right there. Warden ability now is getting used as well, which means for the entirety of the rest of this base, he has only one heal spell left, and that's not going to be easy. Spring traps are hitting hard as well, and defending king now is coming in. There's the first freeze. Hog Riders from the Siege Barracks are coming in as well. The queen did not go for that multi-inferno tower. There's another here as well. Nice, where every single group is, like every single troop is grouping up, but that queen is going for the most interesting wall ever. Let's put it like that. Just go around the corner, please. There is an open wall. Instead, she's choosing that wall. There's a bomb tower right in front of that scatter, and that's a deadly combination.
Yeah, and he's already burned through the freeze that he had left. I mean, the invisibility spell could have helped those healers maybe round that queen to the corner, but we still have the invisibility spell intact. We've got a little support left. Queen has her really strong ability, and so does the Royal Champion. So at the end of the day, Kingsman's not worried about recovering this one. This is why he's known as the king of the hybrid, because he can recover almost any plan, no matter how risky or how hard it seems. And MS is still continuing to go in strong, claiming that lead over the Queen Walkers. There's still one more attack to go left on each side, but we've got MS Esports, who is really putting Queen Walkers' backs to the wall today.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, and Utah has to perform now. At the same time, though, it's always so impressive to me how Kingsman is getting those hybrid attacks done. It looks so easy. I mean, it's kind of like everyone knows what is coming in those hybrid attacks, right? Queen charge the town hall, hybrid the flank, always the same thing. But even though you're kind of knowing what might happen to your base, it's not easy to defend because he is having his own way. As you said, king of hybrid, he's having his own technique, approaches to bases as well. And those small things can have a huge impact. So really nicely done. At the same time, I think we should take a look again at those stats right there and take a look at that strat. That's close. Only a few percentage in between of those two. Turretavantan really struggling against Reported with 2 stars lower, especially after just having 15 stars. That's surprising. And then the feel in Esports as well in there with being kind of close because Drusilla has one more attack to go. So overall, still a lot of close matches at the end of all of those matches. We obviously will show you every single result, but we are in for the last attack of Queen Walkers, and they need to 3-star this one to have a chance in staying in this match. And Utah it is, the Queen Charger legend himself. Can he do it? That's the big question.
That is the question. He's known to be in this position as a leader. He often takes he always takes the final position, leaving that responsibility on his shoulders. Yeti Blimp to come in, rages up to help carry through the defending heroes and ensure that he gets the full cleanup of the defenses within this compartment. We've got the wall break opening up. This also sets up the path for the Queen to charge her way through, and we've got nice easy access leading her through into the town hall. Nice straight line composition coming in, which is also going to narrow out what the Lalo is going to need here as well.
Yeah, we have that Queen keep pushing forward. Like, he wants to get towards the town hall. It depends now on the wall breakers wherever they're going. And we all know wall breakers have their own mind. This wall breaker actually is really well trained because it's directly going where it's supposed to go. That's nice. Next wall break is going to go onto one of those builder huts, if I guess that right. And then we're going to have this Lado from the top side with still his king, his warden, his royal champion not even deported. But there is a damage clan castle. Let's see if the queen is going to disappear. So far it's looking good.
Ooh, so gets the poison down. Also freezes up those minions. We're wasting some of these freezes, but it's not a waste considering all the damage coming in, and he needs to ensure that the queen survives. Plus, we've got that single surrounding. Drops the invisibility spell just to ensure that the town hall and the single go down, and the queen gets full access. We've got that open compartment, a little bit more to the outside or inside edge of the base, but not as much to the outside. But the minion is actually going to ping away and help with some of these ground defenses to pick it up so the queen can get more value. Lalo coming in with a wide spread, but we do have the king helping to narrow it out from that warden position.
Oh, red mines. Is the queen going to stay alive, or more like going the healers? And they're gone. Now the queen on defense is going to get taken down. The queen has still her ability. She's getting really low right there, but this again, huge group of loons coming in. The queen is trying to help to take down the scatter. The scatter, the last important defense to take down. The king is coming in as well. The royal gem with her ability, and that's going to be another 3-star, 14 stars for Queen Walkers. Now the question is, can Sinti, the man himself, going to finish off this match with another 3-star for MS Esports, or is this match going to end up on a crazy other result? We're going to witness in just a couple of seconds, but that attack, another really nice one. But 14 stars. It feels like 14 stars for the majority of teams, that would be already enough to win. But in such a crazy high-level match, it means like nothing. I think Boom has said it on Twitter once, you have to go for the perfect war, otherwise you're not safe. 14 stars good percentage does not mean that you're going to take this victory. And that's exactly the case in this one. The question now is, can MS Esports finish off clean how they started? Or is this going to be a bit more shakier? And we have maybe a 14-14 score with percentage having to come in clutch or maybe not clutch, depending on which side you are.
Yeah, that's and that pressure is on Synthé to produce with this. We know he's known for the Skelly Donut and can often switch it up between Hogs and Lala. We'll see what his poison of choice is going to be in this one, but definitely pressure is on to perform with this. We've seen some amazing hits coming through from both sides. Definitely a well-fought war, and both teams need to keep their head high, but it does come down to just getting that 3-star on the board. Let's see if he falters. We do have the Skelly Donut, indeed, coming through. And we also have the Flame Flinger coming in for the Town Hall.
I think, isn't that something which he's using as well to push in Legends? Or like he's using that with Hawk Riders in Legend. But still, going for the Skelly Donut, and then it's at the same time for the Flame Flinger for the Tunnel. I think that's what he's playing in Legend, but he's using mass Hawk Riders after that in Legend. This time though, he's going for the Lalo. The one thing which is a bit more, which is a bit stronger. Let's put it like this, because Hawk Riders, it's kind of like a meme. It's his thing. It's a lot of fun to him, and he's quite successful over there. And take a look at that. He's using archers to distract the multi-mortar to make sure that the Flame Flinger is not taking too much damage. What a genius move right there. Nicely done by Cynthia, and this means the Tunnel is going to fall next. And now it's Heroes can be sent in from the top side, can get a lot of value over there. The question is this going to be baited with the Heroes, or is he getting all of the value he needs with the Queen getting funneled again into one of those open channels of the base?
Yeah, I mean, he's taken down the CC. He took down 2 of the Infernos in there. Going for the Town Hall, he is going for full value. And again, we're talking about these openings that we push the Queens through to pick up more value. King sectioning this off, pushing a beautiful funnel with the Royal Champ supporting, getting down the air defense, which is going to help support the Lalo. Queen, wait, coming back around. She's not going to go for the core of the base, not going to get the air sweeper and the splash of the Wizard Tower. This is not exactly what we want, because she dies out through the poison bomb. A bit unfortunate, but we've got the Royal Champ to actually take this under control. Has her ability, which gives her a regenerative boost to come in. Can she get the multi down as well and get these loons working their way through? Itsu, just about.
Is looking really good, I think. Yes, indeed. All of those red mines already got triggered by the rocket loons from the Flame Flinger, and that's going to be it. He is, we can see in his player cam, he is happy, he is relieved, getting the pressure out of, like, from his shoulders and showing off that he's just the Skelly Donut King. Really nice Skelly Donut, beautiful attack with the Flame Flinger, showing why this siege is so strong. Another 3-star, and this means 15-14. And that's just crazy. I think both of our matches so far in the live broadcast, both of them were 15-14. Incredible high scoring, and this means MS Esports taking home the victory. Nice match.
Oh, beautiful match at that. So another perfect war on the board. Queen Walker Stephanie, unfortunately, winding up now in the 0-2 bracket, but MS Esports will put their way in 1-1. So we'll take a look in a little bit to see where they're going to face off against, how the other teams have done. But let's take a look at the player stats overall. We, of course, had Gaku in. I think we're missing a few of the stats, but it was Stars who came in with that 89% that actually caused the biggest problem for them, getting this closer, unfortunately. And that was a small, tiny error, Itsu. Like, that was just a small error of call, because the King had that Town Hall under control with the invisibility spell, had he waited just an extra second or two, waited to get the Lalo going after the Town Hall went down, he would have gotten the 3 stars. So this does put them in a precarious position, but they still have the opportunity to fight back.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, would be easy to fill the gaps, which we just said, right? Because everything else was just 3 stars. So easy as that, 100%. 3 stars all around for all of those attacks. And one thing which you have really seen, a lot of those teams, of the top teams, are using Lalo. It is so crazy how good those players became with this strategy. And it is just kind of scary how they're even saving attacks sometimes, which are kind of looking lost to that point where we're at that. And it's kind of crazy. Really, really strong match on both sides. But at the end of the day, this means Queen Walkers is now 0-2. I don't think anyone would have expected them to be one of the 0-2 teams. There is not many teams with this scoreboard at the moment, and the same thing obviously on the other side with the 2-0. That's more likely where people would have thought they would come in. But that's just crazy.
It is. It really is. But again, there's still opportunity. We'll talk a little bit more about the brackets later and where all the teams stand. But why don't we take a look at a replay first? And this one I definitely want to highlight comes from Synthé. This is something that he is exceptional at doing, and that is the Skelly Donut. He's known for this. Watch the multitasking ability, because he does come in with a Flame Flinger at the same time as dropping down the Skelly Donut. And within that, you have to be very mindful of the placement of your Flame Flinger for the risk of mortars. So there needs to be some distraction out of the way. You need to keep it out of range, and expos as well, but keeps us on point while he focuses on getting not only 1, not only 2, but 3 buildings down at the same time, with the multi-single and the CC there right in the core, which connects everything to the Town Hall position. This is opening up the pathing and creating a great big push coming in. And at the same time, we are worrying about taking down the Town Hall. The simultaneous defenses that do surround. You can see the loons coming in to help eliminate any threat to the Flame Flinger from taking that on, because the Expo and the mortars are the only things that can work in range of those Flame Flingers. Now, coming in from the opposite side, we've been talking a lot about these open paths leading the queens in. In order to do this, we need to use our heroes like our king to help set up that funnel. So drops the king in from the 9 o'clock position to take on that scatter shot. This essentially forces the queen into that open position of the base. And while it was not enough to force the queen to get in that splash damage from the wizard tower and the air sweeper right in the core, the king provided so much power and tank for the royal champion who comes into play here, because we did bring in the ice golem for the extra boost. She's able to then take that on and take some shots to the multi. So what we've done here is we've set up a very nice, easy, narrow push while it is wide for the Lalo to bring its way across from the back end. Oh my goodness. And look at those loons, of rocket loons sweeping through from that Flame Flinger. Never forget the troops that you have come out of there and the value that it brings in. We have the push coming in with the Warden ability to clip them through nice and neat. But it's the freeze spells and the hastes that you always have to watch out for. These freezes are something that are very important if you do leave any multis on the back end to try and help spare your loons. But he had like 5 million loons left over anyway, and it wasn't going to be a problem for him to finish this off at the end of the day. But the key takeaways from these are thinking about the position of these outlying town halls where you can get the value from the Flame Flinger, and when you have these open core spaces, how you can use that in conjunction with your heroes to force your queen along and create a much more narrow path either for your Lalo or for your Hogs. And that is the winning win for MS Esports at the end of the day to advance on further into this bracket, going 1-1 Itsu.
That's right, and I just took a look at the results. I think we're going to be back after a really short break with an incredible next match, and obviously even more interesting matchups, because the next round means that the tournament life for some of those teams is on the line, and it means that some of the teams already can qualify after the next round. So a lot of important things are going to happen next, so do not want to go anywhere, because we are going to be back after a really short break. So see you in a bit. In the next stage of the Clash of Clans Queso Cup Golden Edition, we have overall 16 teams battling it out in a Swiss system. Now you might ask, what exactly is a Swiss system and why was this format chosen? So the main difference for a Swiss system and a knockout system is that every team is having the possibility of playing multiple matches. This means as well for you guys out there being the fans of specific teams, you can cheer for your team a little bit longer and have the hope of maybe they're getting a crazy comeback, which is always possible in a format like this. But how does the Swiss system work? Well, overall in round 1, you're going to have, with 16 teams, you're going to have 8 pairs. Those are going to be randomly matched, and then you're going to have, after this round, 8 teams with the score of 0 and 1, and 8 teams with the score of 1 and 0. So moving forward, we always have the teams with the same record matching up against each other. So for example, the teams with the score of a 1-0 are going to go up against each other, while the teams with the 0-1 are going to match up against each other in round 2. For round 3, we now have overall 4 teams with a record of 2 and 0. We have 8 teams with a record of 1 and 1. And again, we have 4 teams with a record of 0-2. Again, we're keeping the same way with always matching the teams with the same record and moving forward with that system. The question with this system is, when exactly are the teams qualified? When are they allowed to move to the next stage? Well, that's pretty simple actually. The first teams who make it to 3 wins are going to be qualified. This might take 3 rounds, this might take 4 rounds. It's really depending on how quickly you get there. And if you can follow this accordingly, this means after 3 rounds, we're going to have the first 2 teams